Right now, your brain is generating between 12,000 to 70,000 thoughts every single day. That means in the next hour, you'll have roughly 3,000 thoughts racing through your mind without you even realizing it. But what if I told you that most successful people have mastered the ability to turn off this mental chatter completely? What if I told you that going just 1 hour without thinking could literally rewire your brain and unlock levels of focus you never knew existed? Today, we're putting this to the ultimate test. I'm going to teach you exactly how to silence your mind for a full hour, why this ancient practice is being used by billionaires and elite athletes, and what happens to your brain when you finally achieve true mental silence. By the end of this video, you'll have a superpower that less than 1% of people possess. Part 1. Mental static elimination method. Have you ever noticed that trying to stop thinking is like trying to stop a hurricane with your bare hands? The harder you fight, the stronger it gets. But there's something fascinating that happens when you tune into an old radio. You hear all that crackling static until suddenly you find that perfect frequency where everything goes crystal clear. Your brain works exactly the same way, and I'm about to show you how to find your mental clear frequency. Most people make the biggest mistake when attempting the no thoughts challenge. They declare war on their thoughts. They push and shove and wrestle with every idea that pops up. But here's what the experts know that you don't. Your mind isn't your enemy. It's a radio that's just tuned to the wrong station. This brings us to technique number 1 out of 10, the mental static elimination method. Instead of fighting your thoughts, you're going to treat your mind like a radio dial. Start with the 4-7-8 breathing pattern. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 7, exhale for 8. While you do this, imagine you're slowly turning a radio dial in your mind, tuning away from the mental chatter until you hit pure silence. This isn't about forcing anything. It's about finding your brain's natural quiet frequency that's been there all along. Part 2, the cognitive load dump technique. Okay, here's something that will blow your mind. Right now, your brain is kind of like a computer with 50 browser tabs open, and each one is just draining your mental battery. You really can't achieve true silence when your subconscious is constantly reminding you about unfinished business. But what if I told you there's actually a way to close all those mental tabs in just 5 minutes? Scientists have discovered that your brain has something called a pending tasks folder. Every worry, every unfinished task, every random thought gets stored there, and your subconscious just keeps generating reminders about them. This is exactly why meditation feels impossible for most people. Their mental RAM is totally maxed out. So here's technique number 2 out of 10, the cognitive load dump technique. Before you even try to enter any no-thought state, just grab a piece of paper and spend exactly 5 minutes writing down every single thing on your mind, every worry, every task, every random thought that pops up. Don't organize it. Don't prioritize it, just dump it all out. This literally frees up your mental processing power and stops your subconscious from generating new thoughts to remind you of unfinished business. It's like clearing your mental cache, and honestly, the results are instant. Your brain will finally have the space to go completely quiet. Part 3, the sensory anchor swap strategy. Most people think achieving no thoughts means focusing on absolutely nothing, but man, that's like trying to balance on a tightrope with your eyes closed. Your brain needs something to hold on to, but it has to be the right kind of anchor. If you give your mind the wrong anchor, you'll just generate even more thoughts. But give it the perfect anchor, and thoughts disappear like magic. Here's the secret that meditation gurus really don't want you to know. Your attention is like a spotlight, and it needs to shine somewhere. When you try to point it at nothing, it just bounces around everywhere, creating mental chaos. But when you point it at the right target, something incredible happens. Your thought-generating system goes completely offline. This is technique number 3 out of 10, the sensory anchor swap strategy. Instead of trying to think about nothing, you're going to give your brain a single nonverbal anchor. Pick one physical sensation and focus intensely on it. The weight of your tongue in your mouth, the temperature of air entering your nostrils, the feeling of your clothes against your skin. This hijacks your attention processor without generating thoughts because sensations exist in the present moment, where thinking just can't survive. Your mind will latch onto this anchor, and honestly, everything else will fade into perfect silence. Part 4, the internal narrator shutdown protocol. There's a voice in your head right now that, well, never stops talking. It's narrating everything you're doing, commenting on what you're seeing, and planning what comes next. Most people don't even realize this voice exists because, it's been running their entire lives. But once you learn to hear it, you can actually learn to silence it, and that's when true mental quiet begins. This internal narrator is like a radio DJ that never takes a break. It provides constant commentary on your life, but here's the thing nobody tells you. That voice isn't you. It's just a mental habit that you can break. The moment you catch this narrator mid-sentence, you have the power to hit the off switch. Here's technique number 4 out of 10, the internal narrator shutdown protocol. Start paying attention to that voice in your head that's constantly talking. Notice how it comments on everything, plans everything, judges everything. The moment you catch this internal dialogue happening, don't argue with it or push it away. Simply press the mental mute button. Stop the sentence mid-word if you have to. This isn't about fighting the narrator, it's about recognizing you have the remote control. Each time you hit that mute button, you're training your brain to operate in silence. After just a few minutes of practice, that internal voice will quiet down and honestly stay quiet. Part 5, the default mode network override hack. Scientists recently discovered something pretty shocking about your brain. When you're not actively focused on a task, your mind switches into what they call default mode. And this mode is basically a thought-generating machine. It's constantly producing random ideas, memories, and worries without your permission. But there's a way to override this system completely. And it's based on some cutting-edge neuroscience. Your brain has 2 main operating systems: default mode network, which creates wandering thoughts and mental chatter, and task positive mode, which creates laser focus and mental clarity. Most people spend their entire lives stuck in default mode, but elite performers know how to switch between them at will. This is technique number 5 out of 10, the default mode network override hack. You're going to force your brain into task positive mode by focusing intensely on your immediate environment. Look around you and notice everything without labeling or analyzing anything. Don't think about what you're seeing, just observe shapes, colors, textures, and movements. This switches your brain out of its thought-generating default mode and into its silent, focused mode. Neuroscientists call this environmental awareness without conceptual thinking, and it's honestly the fastest way to achieve mental stillness. Your brain literally cannot produce wandering thoughts when it's locked into this mode. In an airport, watching planes take off and land. You can see them on the runway, but you don't feel compelled to board every single flight. Your thoughts work exactly the same way, but most people act like they have to catch every mental airplane that passes through their awareness. There's a much smarter approach that air traffic controllers use every day. When thoughts appear in your mind, you have 2 choices. You can engage with them, which is like boarding the plane and going wherever it takes you, or you can simply observe them passing through your mental airspace without getting involved. The difference between these 2 approaches determines whether you achieve mental silence or get lost in mental chaos. Here's technique number 6 out of 10, the thought traffic controller method. Imagine you're sitting in an air traffic control tower watching thoughts like planes on a radar screen. When a thought appears, don't board the plane by engaging with it. Don't try to shoot it down by fighting it. Simply observe it passing through your mental airspace and let it fly by untouched. Some thoughts will circle back around, and that's fine. Just keep watching them from your control tower without directing or following them. This transforms you from a passenger who gets carried away by every thought into a controller who remains perfectly still while mental traffic flows around you. Here's a fact that will change how you think about thinking forever. Your brain burns 20% of your daily calories, and most of that energy goes toward generating thoughts you don't even want. Every worry, every random idea, every mental replay of past events is literally draining your energy reserves. But when you enter a no-thought state, something incredible happens to your body and mind. Scientists have measured what happens when people achieve true mental stillness. The energy that normally gets wasted on unnecessary thinking gets redirected towards cellular repair, memory consolidation, and creative problem solving. This is why breakthrough ideas often appear after periods of mental quiet. your brain finally has the resources to do its most important work. This is technique number 7 out of 10, the mental energy conservation principle. When you stop the constant stream of thinking, you're literally conserving mental energy that gets redirected toward healing and optimization. During your no-thought session, you'll notice your body relaxing in ways you've never experienced. Your breathing will deepen naturally. Your heart rate will slow down. Your muscles will release tension you didn't know you were carrying. This isn't just relaxation. This is your body finally getting the energy it needs to repair and restore itself. Solutions to problems you've been struggling with will start appearing effortlessly because your brain finally has the resources to connect dots you couldn't see before. What I'm about to tell you sounds impossible, but it's been proven in brain imaging studies around the world. Extended periods without thought actually rewire your brain structure, not temporarily, permanently. After just 1 hour of true mental silence, your brain begins building new neural pathways that improve focus, emotional control, and decision-making for weeks afterward. The specific changes are remarkable. Your prefrontal cortex, which controls attention and self-discipline, literally grows thicker. Meanwhile, the default mode network that generates wandering thoughts becomes less active even when you're not meditating. You're essentially upgrading your brain's operating system by giving it time to rebuild itself. Here's technique number 8 out of 10, the neuroplasticity reset phenomenon. During your 1-hour no-thought session, your brain enters a state that scientists call neuroplasticity enhancement. This is when your brain rewires itself for optimal performance. You'll know this is happening when you feel a strange tingling sensation in your head or when colors seem more vivid after your session. These are signs that new neural connections are forming. The improvements in focus, emotional stability, and mental clarity you'll experience aren't temporary mood boosts. They're permanent upgrades to your brain structure that compound over time. Each session literally makes you smarter, calmer, and more focused at the cellular level. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for. You're about to attempt something that, honestly, less than 1% of people can do. It's going a full hour without a single thought. But before you start, you need to know exactly how to structure this session and what to expect, because you know doing this wrong can actually make your mental chatter worse than before. There are specific time intervals where most folks hit mental walls, and there are warning signs that indicate you're fighting instead of flowing. Success in this challenge isn't measured by how hard you try. It's measured by how effortlessly you let go. The people who succeed understand the difference between forcing silence and allowing silence. This is technique number 9 out of 10, the challenge setup and success metrics. So set a timer for exactly 60 minutes and find a comfortable position where you won't be disturbed. For the first 10 minutes, expect your mind to throw everything it has at you. This is normal. Around the 20-minute mark, you'll hit what I call the mental turbulence zone, where thoughts seem to intensify before they disappear. Push through this. After 30 minutes, you'll enter the clarity zone where silence becomes effortless. Success isn't measured by zero thoughts. It's measured by your response to thoughts. When you can watch thoughts appear and disappear without engaging with them, you've mastered the challenge. Physical signs of success include deeper breathing, muscle relaxation, and a strange sense of timelessness. Part 10. Integration Strategy. Mastering the 1-hour no-thought challenge is incredible, but the real transformation happens when you bring this superpower into your daily life. Most people treat mental silence like a vacation they take once in a while, but elite performers use it as a tool they access throughout the day. The difference between these approaches determines whether this skill changes your life or just becomes another meditation technique you tried once. The secret is turning everyday moments into micro-training sessions. Every red light, every commercial break, every moment you're waiting in line is an opportunity to practice mental silence. These small moments add up to massive improvements in focus, emotional control, and mental clarity that compound throughout your day. This is technique number 10 out of 10, the integration strategy. Start incorporating micro no-thought moments into your routine activities. When you're brushing your teeth, focus entirely on the physical sensations without letting your mind wander to your daily schedule. When you're waiting at traffic lights, use those 30 seconds to practice mental silence instead of checking your phone. During commercial breaks, see how quickly you can drop into no-thought mode. These micro-sessions train your brain to access mental silence instantly whenever you need it. Build up from 30-second sessions to 5-minute sessions throughout your day. This transforms mental silence from something you do occasionally into a superpower you can activate on demand. You now have 10 scientifically backed techniques that can literally rewire your brain for peak performance. The 1-hour no-thought challenge isn't just about proving you can sit quietly. It's about unlocking a level of mental clarity and focus that most people never experience. Every successful person you admire has learned to control their mental state, and now you have the exact tools they use. The question isn't whether this works. The question is whether you'll actually implement it. Your hour starts now.